there, and welcome back to 355 Code. This is the second video in our tutorial about making a checkers game or a Chinese checkers game. And in the first video, we talked a little bit about creating a basic drag and drop functionality for our pieces. And in this part, we're going to talk a bit about the logic and a little bit about validating certain moves. So within Chinese checkers and within checkers as well, we're limited to how we can move pieces. So for one, we can move them only diagonally, and two, let's say in the example of Chinese checkers, so we can't move pieces directly adjacent to the adjacent indents. We can only move them two away, and they have to be jumping over other pieces. Whether it's an opponent's piece or our own piece. So let's see what I mean by that. So the move I just made is a valid move, but this move, this move is not a valid move because I moved directly adjacent. And let's say this move also is not a valid move because there's no piece here in between. So in this video, we'll be talking a bit about how to start coding that kind of validity check and see what moves are allowed and what moves are not allowed. We won't be creating a fully functional game, but I will definitely be sending you in the right direction in terms of how to think about the problem and how to start coding a solution. So first of all, let's start thinking about the problem. So basically, we want to check two things. So first step, we're going to check that we didn't move the piece to a directly adjacent indent. And the second part is going to be checking that we actually jumped over one other piece. So to check that we are not going to a directly adjacent indent, basically we need to check if our piece has been entered in one of these six indents, for example, for this empty piece here. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to use the indent IDs. And basically the way that I built the IDs when I was writing the code for the board is that each indent has two numbers separated by a dot, and you can see that the first one is its row, so rows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the second one will be a column. So the columns start from 0 and then they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this case. And basically what we want to check is we want to make sure that we did not put the piece either in the row directly above or directly below where the origin indent is, okay? And that pretty much deals with these two indents and these two indents. And in terms of the same row, we just want to make sure that it's not one indent right below the current indent or origin indent as we called it earlier, and that it's not one directly above. So we're going to start by creating a function, and we're just going to call this function check validity. Okay, and basically in this function we want to do several things. We want to analyze the origin indent, and we want to analyze a current indent. So basically this check of validity will be taking an indent here, okay, and we can actually, for now we can just use current indent, okay, and we also are going to be using origin indent. Sorry, we actually don't need to pass this, my bad, because it's a global variable that we have up here. So what we can do is just, we want to break down the IDs of origin indent and current indent into two parts. So let's separate them by saying origin row, okay, and we're also going to have origin column, okay, and we're going to have, let's call it destination row and destination okay? And each of these variables is going to be a number. And how are we going to get this number? So for the origin row, and we're going to be needing to wrap these in numbers here, because as I said, we're going to be getting a number, whereas our IDs are built as strings. So these are all going to need to be numbers. And what are these numbers? So let's get our IDs. So this is going to be origin indent dot ID, and then we're going to want to get a substring. And this substring for the row, as I said, the rows are the first numbers, so this is going to be 0, 1, and that'll just get us these first numbers over here. And origin column, so this is going to be origin indent dot ID, and also dot substring. And in this case, it's just going to be just 2, because it's really, we just want to get this last number right here. And I can actually just copy this over right over here, and copy this over, because all of our IDs are built in a similar manner. So we can actually just use these right over here. And instead of origin indent, these are going to be current indent and current indent. And let's just console all of our values. So let's do origin row, origin column, destination row, and destination column. Okay, and now the last thing we need to do is, okay, when are we going to fire this check validity function? So we are going to fire it right before we move a piece. So that is going to be when we have any mouse up function. So let's start by putting it right over here. So we have mouse up, and here we're going to check validity. And later on, when you're actually building the full functionality of the game, you can base your decision to move pieces or not move pieces on the results of this check validity function. So let's try running our code. And I'm going to pick up a piece and I drop it over here. Console is not a function. What did I do? Probably just console, not console.log. Okay, and let's try that one more time. Excellent. Okay, so you can see here, so in terms of our origin, so it was 4, 0, and our destination was 6, 2. Okay, so that's exactly what we expected to see here in terms of 4, 0, 6, 2. So this is working, and now basically we just need to code out our logic. So the first thing that we're going to check is make sure that it's not the row right above it or right below it. That means basically if origin row, let's say destination row, is equal to origin row plus 2, okay, or destination row is equal to origin row minus 2, then return true. Okay, and then basically what we can do here is we can console where we called our check validity. So instead of check validity, let's console check validity. Okay, and this is basically going to see what our function is returning. So now if I move a piece, let's say from here to here, and again, I obviously have a problem with writing console.log. Everybody has their own problems, and this one is mine. So let's see, I'll move that over here, and true, okay? And if I move this piece over here, then null, okay? Because basically our function doesn't return anything if it is just 1. We could check the validity here. And another way we can go about it is we can say if origin row is not equal to origin row plus 1, okay, plus 1, and destination row is not equal to origin row plus 2, plus 1, no, minus 1, then return true. Okay, because basically those are the 2 rows that we're not allowed to go to. Okay, so just showing you 2 directions to go about it here, and there's no right answers. Sometimes only after you write a lot more code and you'll see certain logical connections between things that you're doing, you'll be able to refactor your code and write it in a more concise manner. And then basically after we do first level logic, we're going to want to do some second level logic and add more logic regarding if in the case that it's the same row and for jumping and whatnot. But this is the general direction that you're going to want to take in terms of planning out logic for a game. And if you saw some of our other games, then you can see really complete projects with game logic. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. We love teaching you how to create different games and explain different concepts in JavaScript so that you can have a good time and learn coding at the same time. So see you next time.